Hey everyone, this is David Jameson coming to you live today from ProPride Industries, the home of the 3P ProPride Hitch. And as always, we have, well, you hear that? Lazar's already got the volume up on me, guys. So we got to deal with things. As always here, wait till you see Weathered by Lazar today. But we're going to start a few things new. But first, I want to mention, don't forget to like, share, and comment on this episode. And if you share in a Facebook group, you get 2 entries into our $2,000 raffle. And if you send in a 1 to 2 minute little video, they can use their phone, right, Lazar?
Absolutely.
Lazar said absolutely. You can send that in. You get 5 entries, but you can't do it every week. That's just 1 5 entry for sending in a video. Lazar, we saw a whole bunch of people are watching. Why don't you tell us who's watching?
Yeah,
let's send shout outs to these people.
Jim Ferguson, Chris Swank, Steve Hill.
Can everyone hear Lazar okay?
Andrew
Reed, do you have
Novello.
Yeah. What's that?
We got John Stinger.
Johnny Stinger, that's my rugby buddy. Johnny Sting, so glad to see you're watching us here at ProPride.
We got Bruce Mellon, Rick Copeland, Steve Hill, Jordan Monroe.
Wow, it sounds like quite a crew. But anyway, we're going to get going here. But first, everyone, let's watch this. And we are back, and you know what? Lazar pushed, I think, 3 or 4 buttons, even though we've done this, this is our 22nd episode. Lazar is keeping us on our toes at all times. Remember, the epitome of the United States of America educational system is standing next to me.
It failed me.
What failed you?
The system?
The system failed him, he says. But nonetheless, we are going to get going on announcements. But I wanted to mention the Black Hawk pilot that stopped by after he buzzed our tower a few times, referred to his ProPride TV as corny. Now, I take that as a compliment as much as I do that crazy finance guy. Have you flashed that yet today?
I just did.
He just did. Okay. So announcements. Don't forget, we still have 0% financing for 18 months, meaning you can go through Brent on our site and receive 0 interest and make 18 equal payments. And that's pretty neat. Mr. Brent McDowell is again on set. Isn't that neat, Brent?
It's fantastic.
And he is mic'd, pre-mic'd before he's on set. Arms crossed, nodded, smiled, and said that is fantastic. Number 2, what else we got? We have our $2,000 raffle, the new one that will be drawn on July 9th. It's the 9th, right, Lazar?
Absolutely.
Thumbs up from Lazar. It is on the 9th, and it includes a solar panel. He liked that, the thumbs up. He's a ventriloquist, too.
Oh, dude.
So anyway, ventriloquist. So of that, inside that raffle, we have a $2,000 raffle that includes the solar panel system from Ronnie Dennis, Airstream Nuts and Bolts. We also have our V2 jacks that are produced right here at ProPride Industries, the home of the ProPride Hitch. We have a trucker cap that was designed by none other than Brent Little C Big D McDowell. We have the Hitch cover set and a lot bar. That's a heck of a deal. All you have to do is enter by like, share, and comment. Share in a group. You get 2 entries and send us a little video for 5. We got any videos yet, Lazar?
We haven't received any yet.
No, we haven't. There's been talk of it, though.
Right, there has been.
There has been talk of it, so we're really looking forward to that. So let's see here. If I missed anything, Lazar, on announcements. We're back to live. We can go back to live right now. We'll do that. So to receive the 5 entries, share your, you know what, let's go back and read that, okay? So the 5 entries, to get 5 entries into the raffle, a 1 to 2 minute in-length video. You can use your phone. You share your 3P experience and why you love the 3P and how much it means to you and your family. Any tips that you'd like to share. And speaking of tips, again, we have Mr. Brent McDowell that is on set. Actually, we're right next to his office, so it's not far for him. Also, we have the sponsorship coming up. As we have, let me make sure I can word this correctly. Ronnie Dennis of Airstream Nuts and Bolts. See, we have his solar panel system in the raffle, so we are advertising him. Wouldn't you say that? Promoting him.
Yeah.
We're kind of like promoters. Lazar is an Instagram promoter. I don't know if many people know. Influencer. So, what do you influence?
Absolutely nobody.
Nobody. What, like, I think it might be like hair products, something like that.
Beard oil.
Tight shirts that are slightly too small.
Tight on your arms.
Tight on the arms. So that's the way to do it. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym, though he does. You just get him with small arms. So anyway, the ProPride TV sponsorship, we will showcase your business on ProPride TV. You send us your information, we'll send you ours. We could do a coordinated effort, and it's going to work out real well because starting next week, we should have our set up. And Brent is actually standing on our new set. We used it a couple weeks ago. The lighting will be in today or tomorrow, or Monday, I mean. And as Lazar, you have that up, right? Let me point. You said, look at the numbers.
Yep.
Numbers here. And those are the type of people that we reach on this corny show called ProPride TV, hosted by none other than that crazy finance guy and his sidekick, Lazar, who has Weather by Lazar. So that leads us to the review by, yes, exactly, the crazy finance guy. And I appreciate you giving me a break here. Have there been any questions on the announcements?
No, but there is one question that Brent may be able to
Okay,
answer.
it's more technical. So
Yes.
I wish people would comment. Wait till you hear the joke today. So anyway, the review, we're to that now. Chris Garcia wrote recently, I don't have Facebook, however, thought I would share. While driving in the mountains of North Georgia, a driver in front of me abruptly changed lanes and hit the brakes. I, in turn, had to slam on the brakes, smoking the tires on my 33-foot Airstream. I firmly believe that without my ProPride 3P hitch, I would have jackknifed my unit. Thanks, ProPride, for keeping things steady and right behind me. That's a nice little review, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What do you think of that, Brent?
I think that's a pretty fantastic review.
See, yeah.
I'm a man of many adjectives.
We're articulate here on set, too. So that will now lead us to none other than Brent McDowell coming on board right now, and he is Mike, so I won't have to contort myself this week to talk his little tech talk by Brent. Everyone, did you give him a round of everyone out there, give him a round of applause, did they? They cheered. Very good. So Brent, you have the floor.
Awesome. All right, so everybody can hear me. That's good. So I'm going to go over I'll come in the middle here. What we're going to go over today is just like a basic overview of how you would do a weight scale procedure. Because I've had a lot of customers that are posting on Facebook and stuff, which is great because that's a fantastic community we have. But they'll post like weights and measurements without having some core measurements first. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to put all this paperwork and stuff available for you guys to see as well on there. But Lazar, if you can do the first.
He's requesting the first slide. That's one. Slide one. He's got it.
Fantastic.
Brent,
Slide
I
one's
gotta
up.
say, you're a tall drink of water. I'd never really noticed that because I haven't
I'm
stood.
a very tall drink.
What are you,
of water.
about 6'2.5"?
I'm a tall 6'1".
A tall 6'1", people. Anyway, go ahead. But then the faux hawk gives the illusion of 6'3".
It does.
But
Sometimes if it's slicked back, I lose a couple of inches. But what do you do, right? So he's
Gotta go down the faux
He's going to
hawk.
throw me just way off. I swear.
Or as my buddy Zook would say, fox hawk.
Fox hawk.
Because he one time said that he had pulled a fox pass. But anyway,
Very good.
sorry
Very
to
good.
interrupt.
It's all good. It's all good on ProPride TV, right?
It's all good on
Always.
ProPride TV.
As corny
except
as we
a couple
can be.
things. We kind of know what it is. Anyway.
All right, so guys, when you're going to do your base measurement, so you can do this whenever you want, really, with your vehicle by itself. So you want to just get your tow vehicle's 2 axle measurements, right? So you can see that on that first page. This kind of does a pretty good job demonstrating it, but you're going to get your steer axle and your drive axle. We got to make sure that that is done first. You got to have a base measurement to see how it changes once you get your trailer hitched up. So that's the first one. Go ahead to go to the second slide there, Lazar, if you would.
Number two.
Yeah, so the second one is going to be, let's see here.
You're on the second one.
Am I? Okay, perfect. I'm looking at two different screens.
He's sharper than he looks, Brent.
He is. It's the education, man. It is, absolutely. So the trailer's got to be hooked up to the second one, right? So you can do a couple of different things with that. If you want to have your weight distribution engaged, when you do that, that's fine. Or you can have it unengaged, get your 3-axle measurements, then go back through, or at the same time, potentially have them record that, then bring your weight distribution up to kind of see how it's actually doing and how it's distributing that weight back to your steer axle and your trailer. And you can do that as well. So you can do the first one without anything on it, so truck by itself, trailer hooked up without any weight distribution, then trailer hooked up with weight distribution. And you can also change that around to kind of see how it's reflecting. I've got 2 actual tickets from a customer that did his as well, which we'll show you. And Lazar's already got it up. That's fantastic. The first one is going to be just the steer axle and drive axle. I don't have to hold this up because it's right there on the screen. So he shows that his steer axle was 4,360, drive axle was like 3,300 with a total weight of 7,660, right? So let's go to the second one. So this one was with weight distribution engaged, not completely engaged, but somewhat engaged. And it's brought his steer axle back to 4,120 with a drive axle of 4,200. It gives you your trailer axle at that time too, so you have your total. We're really looking for that steer axle reload, basically, because you can see the weight. Well, he has his weight distribution engaged. It'd been better if I had 3 of them, but we don't for this situation, but that's all right. So the steer axle is just about reloaded. He's about 240 pounds off. He's still got some room to move there. But you've got to also keep in mind, not every single vehicle has to be reloaded fully back to that. His measurement was probably actually back to within a 1/2 inch easily, within that 200-pound range. And some vehicles only need about 75% reload on the front. It's usually in the owner's manual of your vehicle, but some of them don't like to be fully reloaded. And it's really about how it feels at that point too. As long as you're within about 200 pounds or 1/2 inch there with your measurement, you're probably going to be good to go. But you can kind of adjust that accordingly for like porpoising. That's a great way to adjust porpoising out, is just a little bit more weight or a little less weight. You can go within about a 1/2 inch range, some things like that. But really, that's kind of a basic overview. I did include this
Really didn't
handout
sound
too.
basic to me. I was going to ask you if you could dumb that down and just like the finer points,
Yeah,
the
so
macro points. Give us the macro
Let's
points.
dumb it down completely. So you need really, I would suggest at least 2 measurements. You're going to need your tow vehicle without anything with
You mean
it
by
at all.
measurement, the weight.
The weight, yes,
weight.
thank you. Yep. So your scale measurement. So when you go through the scales there, if you're going to do a scale, I just wanted to kind of throw that out. You don't have to do scales. You can usually do it within the measurement, literally, by measuring your front wheel well like we show in the manual. But if you want to go to the scales and do the weight thing, this is just a basic overview of that. So without anything on your truck at all, so your truck by itself, if you want to preload it, you can. If you're going to put a bunch of stuff in the back you know that you're going to have there, that's fine. You can accommodate for that too, or attribute to that. Your second measurement, or your second weight measurement, is going to be with your trailer on your truck, right? So it's hooked up, ready to go, and weight distribution engaged to kind of see how you're getting, if you're getting that weight redistributed back to your steer axle or not.
So you're saying without scales they can measure the distance?
Yep, yeah, so we give that to you in the manual because not everybody's got access to a scale, although they are everywhere. You don't necessarily, it's not necessarily a super easy thing to do, but it's not that difficult either, if that makes any sense.
Metric or empirical? No, I'm joking, I'm joking.
I'm like, yeah, it's in pounds.
Anyway.
So really, without your trailer hooked up, without your trailer hooked up, with your trailer hooked up, and you could even do with your trailer hooked up with weight distribution engaged. That's really the points that I wanted to make. And this basically breaks it down completely for you, and we've included that so you guys can see that too.
I would be lying if I said that I followed along very well. I didn't get it because I've never had to do this, but nonetheless, for those of you that have the questions, there's your answer. So let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Brent McDowell. Wait, whoa, let's stop the applause. Thank you.
No applause.
Did you stop him?
Yeah,
okay, you stopped him. Good. We have questions now. When we have Brent on the set, we need questions answered because we're not technical enough.
So Andrew Novello had a question, just a separate topic. Do you guys just sell the bearing seals to repack the bearings on the 3P, or is it recommended to buy the kit and replace everything?
Yeah, if you're going to go to the trouble of doing all of that, I would just replace it all. That's why we sell it as one big kit and not individually. So yeah, if you're going to break that apart and do that, definitely I would suggest just doing the entire kit because it includes everything that you need. And we do recommend about every 4 years or 50,000 miles basically to check those out, see what's going on there, make sure that you don't have anything. H2O is an interesting creature. It gets in wherever it wants sometimes. So just make sure it's all good, not moist in there. Or anything
Moist,
like that.
okay.
It was a trigger word for you.
And then just a comment.
You can
Jim
speak
Ferguson,
up. Nobody's going to care. You can speak up.
Jim Ferguson's taking their his ProPride on a 10,000 kilometer trip in 5
Who
weeks.
is Jim
Ferguson.
Jim Thunder Island Ferguson?
That is who.
Because there was a Jay Ferguson in the 70s that had a song. Brent knows. See, Brent and I can share the same.
We can. We've got
same,
some of that.
We're close in age. Right.
And
But he is a tall drink of water, and I was noticing that. So anyway, now everyone in the audience, let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Brent McDowell. Brent McDowell. See, sometimes my N goes through real quick, and it's Brent. Don't call me Brett McDowell. So nonetheless, thank you again.
Absolutely, thank
and that's
you.
Tech Talk for Brent. What was the name of this talk? Has something to do with
Balancing
Basic,
the hitch?
yeah, basic overview of your weight scale procedure. How about that?
basic overview of your weight scale procedure. So those in our digital marketing, you can mark this down as that subject. So thank you again, Brent. And guess what it's time for right now? It is time for, our cameraman's walking around, so we got to wait a second.
Well,
Oh,
we put the link to what was on the screen in the description.
Which is fine.
Oh,
So
the link to what was on the screen is in the description. Our cameraman Reed just notified us of that. I think Brent or Lazar actually put it in there.
So it's probably commercial scale weighing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good too. It's not as advanced as I would like to sound.
It's
No, I'm
not
just
as
kidding.
advanced.
But you're all good.
Anyway, well, you can take his mic from him now. No.
Right, exactly. Take his bike, get him out of here.
So there we have it. Now it is time. Here in mid-Michigan, the weather has been changing, so it's time for Weather by Lazar. Everyone give him a round of applause. Here we go. Here's Weather by Lazar. As you can see, the guns are out, but they're kind of covered up. They're somewhat covered. The guns are in the shade, people. He's wearing a short sleeve shirt, but the guns they're there, but they're covered up.
Couple clouds in the sky. It's
Couple-
overcast.
Right, a little bit overcast, so it is warm and sunny here. Thank you again, Lazar, for Weather by Lazar. So that leads us now to the weekly joke. Or did we ever get that on the screen?
We need to.
Bad jokes by Dave. It was dad jokes, but now it's just bad jokes. And since I'm Irish, like I mentioned, and Brett Little C Big D McDowell is of strange origin, or I think he said possibly Scottish origin. Would you say strange origin and Scottish mixed?
I would say there's probably a little bit of,
Yes.
both in there, right?
He's contemplating that. Like, yeah, strange origin. And would there be a little bit? Yeah. Well, anyway,
I'll give you a hair sample. We can check it out later.
hair sample. I think he's got a little alien in him. So anyway, I'm going to go with the Irish jokes again. So Patty's sitting at home. The phone rings and it's Mick. Mick's calling. He says, "Patty, I'm in Cork and I need to get back to Dublin. And I need to know the best way." Patty says, "Well, are you in the car or are you walking?" Mick says, "Well, I'm in the car." Patty says, "Well, that's the best way." So there you have it. Bad jokes by Dave. So let's recap today. So again, we have a lot of good people going on trips. We've had a couple of questions. We had Brent giving us, again, what was that, Brent?
We're going to call it the commercial scale weighing overview. How about that?
The commercial scale weighing overview. Okay, we had that. Chris Garcia came through with a real cool and real good safety related
Email.
email. Thank you, Lazar. The safety related email. Tech Talk with Brent, 18 months, 0% interest, $2,000 raffle with the anchor prize being the solar panels from none other than Ronnie Dennis of Airstream Nuts and Bolts. We had a wonderful joke. It's sunny with a little bit overcast, so the guns aren't completely out. They're a little bit shaded. And we thank you for being part of the ProPride family. And this is David Jamison. I'm signing off, and I will see you next week, whether you like it or not.
Hey, Brent here with ProPride Industries. Let's see if we got it lined up. So he's got a camera, so you can probably do a pretty darn good job. We've got our install complete here. We're all hitched up and we're ready to take off. Beautiful. I'm going to take you for a little bit of a ride.